An archaeological excavation of a mysterious ruin triggered an ancient seal, becoming a catastrophe for all of humanity. A strange, blood-colored mist quickly spread across every city. Humans caught within the mist could not withstand the mutation, going mad before dying violently. However, most other living creatures transformed into terrifying monsters with bizarre abilities, known as aberrations. Wherever these aberrations went, they left cities in ruins as fear spread like a plague. A man desperately calls out for someone named Xiao Zhu. He fights through hordes of wolf-like aberrations, his arm transforming into a crimson, clawed appendage as he screams her name. He finds a young girl's body on the ground and cradles it, weeping for Zhu. This harrowing scene fades into the present, where the same man stands alone in the desolate, red-tinged city, wondering where she is. A news report from 3 days prior to the apocalypse plays out, with a broadcaster urging citizens not to panic over reports of a red fog, advising them to remain indoors. The man, whose name is Xiao Hao, is in a car with his family. His younger sister, Xiao Zhu, is frightened. He reassures her as they see the army mobilizing. He expresses his distrust for politicians trying to pass the event off as a natural disaster. Suddenly, the red mist intensifies, and a massive creature smashes into their car, causing it to flip over. Xiao Hao wakes up and asks if his parents are okay, but sees his mother's leg is stuck. He looks outside to see monstrous creatures roaming the ruined streets and people running in terror. His father tells him to hurry and get out of the car, instructing him to take his sister and go, not to worry about them. Xiao Hao refuses, trying to get them out, but his father insists that as the big brother, he must step up and take responsibility. His mother begs him to take care of Xiao Zhu. As a monstrous wolf creature descends upon the car, his parents shove him and his sister out, telling them to go now. They watch in horror as the beast attacks the car, killing their parents. Xiao Hao grabs his sister and flees through the chaos as other aberrations, including a winged beast, continue to destroy the city. People around them are going insane while animals transform. He finds a hiding spot and quiets his sister. After a monster passes, he feels relieved, but Xiao Zhu suddenly cries out in pain. She says she doesn't feel well, and he wonders if she inhaled too much of the red mist. As he tries to cover her mouth and nose with a piece of cloth, he suddenly feels an intense heat and senses something forcing its way out of his body. He tells his worried sister that he is fine, but red tendrils of energy erupt from his back. A wolf-like aberration spots them, and he shoves his sister, telling her to go. Another winged monster appears, and he holds his sister tight, wondering if they are really going to die there. The scene shifts to the present, 6 months later. The man, now known as Yan Hao, wakes from the same nightmare. He has joined the army's lowest-ranking unit, the Border Patrol, at the Kishi City outpost, believing it's the only way to gather intel and find his sister. He is late for his shift and gets berated by his captain, Jia Jun. Another soldier, Yan Hao, mentions that they can clock out once the big shots from the Special Response Unit arrive. The captain threatens Yan Hao, telling him not to screw up. The narrative explains that surviving humans eke out a living on the borderlands, far from a mysterious crimson spire that appeared with the red fog. The Special Response Unit arrives, and the patrol team feels they can relax. Yan Hao remarks that he still hates the smell of the crimson fog, noting it brings out a creature's primal bloodlust. Suddenly, he senses something charging their way as the crimson fog parts. A massive, heavily armored vehicle from the Special Response Unit is thrown through the air, crashing before them. A soldier emerges, yelling for everyone to fall back before being killed by a shadowy creature. The patrol team panics and flees as a horde of aberrations swarms them. Yan Hao is thrown to the ground. As the monsters close in, his eyes glow red and he thinks to himself one. He unleashes his power, crimson energy exploding from his body as he slaughters the beasts. He notes that after absorbing one, he has gotten a little stronger and wonders what would happen if he absorbed a few more. As he continues his massacre, a voice asks who is there. A woman with white hair, Captain Song Rui of the Blazing Blood Detachment, appears. Yan Hao realizes she's from the Special Response Unit and quickly tries to revert to his human form. Her unit opens fire and he yells for them not to shoot, identifying himself as a private from the patrol team. Song Rui approaches him, asking where his weapon is. He realizes he is screwed. Later, he is detained and interrogated. Song Rui questions why he, a soldier who abandoned his post, survived an attack that killed members of her elite squad. Yan Hao lies, claiming he was napping and that his speed, honed from being on the track team, allowed him to run away when he saw the fog. He explains that he joined the army because he is scared of dying. During his 6 months searching for Xiao Zhu, he learned to control his transformations by killing and absorbing low-level aberrations. Song Rui doesn't believe him, noting that he abandoned his post and withheld information. She asks about his hands, and just as she presses him on his real objective, the ground shakes violently. Yan Hao recognizes the feeling. A horde of aberrations is approaching. The floor collapses, and everyone plummets into darkness. They land in an underground maze dug by aberrations. One of the soldiers complains about Yan Hao being a walking disaster. Song Rui orders everyone to check their weapons. Yan Hao hears the sound of wind and suggests a way out. As they navigate the tunnels, they are ambushed by giant beetle-like creatures. Song Rui warns that the fluid from the beetles is corrosive and orders her men not to let them get close. They fight their way through the swarm until they reach a large cavern where the insects seem to stop. A much larger, Tyrant-class beetle appears, absorbing the red mist to convert it into energy. Song Rui attacks it with an electrified weapon, but the blast has no effect. As the monster prepares to counterattack, Yan Hao pushes her out of the way, telling her that if they make it out alive, he'll explain everything. He unleashes his crimson power, his arm transforming, and declares that he will face the beast. He knows it is a tyrant class, similar to another creature he has encountered. He wonders how much stronger he will become if he absorbs it. He clashes with the beast, finding its defense incredibly tough. He notes its massive size makes it a slow-moving target. While his comrades watch in disbelief, Song Rui reveals to her subordinate that Yan Hao is not just a scared soldier. He is an experimental subject developed by the government for combat against aberrant beasts who escaped a laboratory. Tyrant-class beast charges a massive energy ball in its maw, firing it directly at the soldiers. Yan Hao yells for them to get away. After the blast, he finds his energy depleted and his transformation receding. He faces a new, more powerful version of the creature, a Tyrant-class steel shield spike beetle, noting that this will be troublesome. The MC mocks the monster's slow speed, comparing it unfavorably to the monsters of his true past. The surviving patrolman, Officer Zhang, observes Yan Hao's power absorbing the monster's energy, realizing the truly terrifying nature of this individual. Lai Kaiyan, her eyes sharp and assessing, whispers, confirming Yan Hao is indeed the subject of highest confidentiality, the captain who had gone rogue, instructing Zhang never to speak of what they witnessed. Yan Hao delivers the final, brutal blow, creating a vortex of red energy that rips the T-class aberration to shreds. Exhausted but victorious, he watches as the remaining small aberrations focus their attack on the vulnerable patrol team. Knowing he must buy them time, the MC plants himself firmly in the center of the carnage, letting the aberrant energy flood his system as he prepares for the final, desperate battle. A narrative shift transports us back in time. 5 minutes ago, Captain Song is seen in a corridor of a high-rise facility, speaking with Captain Song, a male officer, demanding information on the soldier who was involved in the sudden disappearance. She clarifies that she has a special order from headquarters regarding the MC, Yan Hao. Due to his unstable physical condition, he is to be confined to room 314 for observation. The female Captain Song expresses serious concern that the MC's unstable powers, stemming from the Crimson Fog incident, must be contained immediately, forcing the male captain to lead her to the room. Upon reaching room 314, she tells the male captain to wait outside, confirming that she will deal with the MC herself, even if he tries to resist. She kicks the door open violently, just as the MC inside manages to consolidate the absorbed power crystal, his body still wrapped in pulsating crimson tendrils. The MC roars, yelling at her to get out of the way, unleashing a focused kinetic blast of energy as he stabilizes the core. The blast hits Captain Song on the hallway wall, forcing her back, but she manages to deflect the main impact, her expression shocked. The male officer, seeing the destruction, recalls the rumors about the MC being the sole survivor of the Crimson Fog incident. Captain Song confirms this, detailing that the MC survived but gained terrifying, unstable powers. The MC, having escaped the room, is spotted leaping from the hospital rooftop. Captain Song follows him immediately to the roof, demanding he surrender. She states that his power is a form of bioenergy corruption, warning that he will be destroyed by it if he doesn't receive treatment. The MC responds with a chilling, knowing smirk, asking her what she thinks he actually is. She declares him an anomaly, a survivor who has evolved due to the residual Crimson Fog energy, possessing power far beyond a regular human. But she argues his power is latent and uncontrollable. She lays out 2 options. Path 1 is forced confinement, study, and a painful death. Path 2 is joining her Special Operations Unit 8, where he can gain control while serving the city defense. The MC expresses skepticism, noting he never wanted to join the defense forces, but asks what the catch is for joining Unit 8. Captain Song then reveals her powerful leverage. She holds up the photo, the purple core fragment from Yan Jiao, revealing a spectral image of a young girl inside. She explains that this crystal contains the core power of his younger sister, whom he believed died during the disaster. The MC is visibly enraged, demanding to know where she got it. She calms him, explaining the girl's essence now exists as a guardian, a weaponized life form, and if he joins Unit 8, he can work towards finding a way to save her. The MC finally accepts the deal, taking the purple crystal into his palm, confirming the shocking photo is now in his possession. Captain Song warns him that he must play his role perfectly and immediately stabilize the core energy he just absorbed, before ordering him to disappear for a few days to recover. The MC leaps off the skyscraper, vanishing into the city below, contemplating his sister's fate. Captain Song smiles with a subtle, predatory satisfaction, confirming that Yan Hao is officially hers. The MC lands on the ground near a ruined urban landscape, only to be immediately surrounded by a squad of armed soldiers. Their leader, Commander Kayan, instantly recognizes the MC and screams accusations, calling him the demon who killed Captain Song, clearly referring to the male officer who was injured during the escape. Commander Kayan orders his men to apprehend the traitor, but the MC simply smiles faintly. Unimpressed by the ambush, Commander Kayan steps forward, demanding an apology and respect for military rank. The MC refuses, declaring he doesn't owe them anything, and realizing that this is just a setup to eliminate him. The soldiers attack en masse, but the MC moves with incomprehensible speed, dodging every blow. He uses fluid, powerful counterattacks, counting out his strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4. With the fourth strike, a massive shockwave erupts, sending the armored soldiers flying like ragdolls. Commander Kayan, bewildered, argues that the MC cannot attack a superior officer, a captain in the city defense. The MC, dismissive of the rank, punches Kayan, shattering his combat armor and knocking him sprawling to the ground, asserting his dominance. When another soldier draws a weapon and fires, the MC casually raises his hand and catches the speeding bullet, crushing it into dust, displaying an inhuman reaction speed and density. He taunts the weapon wielder, asking what use their bullets are against him. Commander Kayan, bleeding and terrified, stares up at the MC, calling him a monster. The MC demands to know who commanded this ambush. When Kayan refuses to speak, the MC delivers a final, bone-crushing strike to his jaw, knocking him unconscious. The remaining soldiers, utterly demoralized, drop their weapons and profusely apologize to the MC, calling him the new captain and begging for mercy. Captain Song arrives on the scene, stepping calmly over the defeated soldiers. She acknowledges the chaos, but confirms that headquarters has approved the official transfer documents. The MC reviews the digital documents, noting that the agreement stipulates he must participate in a special selection test before officially joining Unit 8. Captain Song confirms this, stating that while the paperwork may be done, the MC needs to prove his incredible strength in a formal setting, assuring him that for a man of his capabilities, it will be easy. The MC smiles confidently, prepared for the next challenge. A flashback reveals another layer of the testing process. In a sterile headquarters office, a high-ranking officer reviews the MC's file, noting his unprecedented scores, but still expressing doubt about his inclusion, stating that headquarters mandated his participation due to an external agreement. He orders the staff to proceed with the Beast Core Affinity test. An instructor explains that every soldier has a quality-ranked Beast Core implanted, and this test measures the soldier's affinity with the power source. He details the core quality spectrum: gold, red, blood red, and black. A soldier with a standard black core attempts the test, managing to manifest a weak electrical power, but the monitor displays a D rank with a 1% affinity rate. The instructor confirms this low score is normal. Another recruit named Guo Qiang steps up and commands his core to fully open, generating a burst of energy. The screen displays U rank, 60% affinity rate, an impressive if not astounding result. The MC is called forward, observing the recruit's jealous stares. Jin Ting, the excited girl, intervenes, telling the MC that he must perform well so they can be teammates, revealing she is the guardian of Kishi City. She warns him to prove his worth, as she only respects strength. The MC finds her enthusiasm mildly irritating but intriguing. Jin Ting then takes the stage herself, demonstrating exceptional control by manifesting a vibrant red energy. Her score is D rank, 90% affinity rate, a near-perfect score for her rank. The crowd is stunned by her mastery. Finally, it is the MC's turn. He takes the testing device and focuses, sensing the foreign, volatile energy of the recently absorbed Guardian Core stirring beneath his skin. Deciding to commit fully to the deception and assert his power, he channels the immense chaotic core power. The moment the energy manifests, the system is overwhelmed. The screen flashes error. Red warnings cascade across the testing floor, and the room shakes violently. The instructors are aghast, realizing this is an utterly unique system failure. The MC grins darkly, knowing his power exceeds the system's ability to categorize him. The final, horrifying result locks on the screen for the entire assembly to see. Affinity rate *** as 0%**. The profound impossibility of the score marks him as an untraceable anomaly, confirming his power level is off the charts, beyond standard human definition. The narrative shifts to the Chief of Staff's office high above the city. The highest brass, including an elderly white-haired general, discussed the unsettling recruitment of Jin Ying, the general expressing deep apprehension over integrating someone so unpredictable, especially since Jin Tian had effectively forced his hand, citing some unseen leverage. General Song Han vehemently protested, concerned that the MC, essentially a time bomb given his unpredictable energy spike, could potentially drag down the entire Crimson King organization. A tense debate ensued, with the general ultimately relenting, giving the go-ahead for the MC's field assignment, noting that if the MC truly was a weapon, he was too valuable to discard. The scene changes to the Crimson Bird Barracks, a vast, open training ground. The MC and the SRU team members, including Lucy and Han Hao, prepared for what was nominally a training exercise, though the atmosphere suggested far greater danger. Lucy, now wearing her full battle armor, a sleek suit emphasizing her agility, mocked the idea of calling this training, pointing out that the risk index was ridiculously high, nearly equaling a full-scale operation. The MC, Yan Hao, stared, utterly perplexed by the level of caution, questioning if they were seriously heading into such a volatile zone. Han Hao, the lieutenant, explained sternly that their mission was merely data collection, confirming the risk was high even for a reconnaissance team due to the highly aggressive, predatory nature of the indigenous beasts. They advanced in an armored tank across a desolate, ruinous landscape, surrounded by the unsettling silence of the mist. Han Hao warned the crew that these were no ordinary creatures. These were evolved, chaotic beasts requiring extreme caution. Lucy, meanwhile, looked at the MC, musing aloud that she didn't trust him one bit, given his suspicious background and 0% affinity, a statement the MC met with calm indifference, reminding her that his presence was authorized. Suddenly, the MC felt a tremor, looked up, and gasped as the sky darkened with a massive, terrifying swarm of winged insects. Dominator-class queen wasps, hundreds of them descending fast. Han Hao, instantly recognizing the severity, screamed for everyone to brace for impact just before the swarm slammed into the reinforced tank, shaking it violently. Lucy frantically reported a massive, synchronized stinger attack, confirming the unit was comprised of armored Dominator-class creatures, and yelling for the armored vehicle to retreat. The MC, realizing this was the perfect opportunity to subtly exercise his unique powers, used the brief moment of chaos to unleash a massive red energy sphere, a red mist burst, annihilating dozens of the immediate attackers and buying the armored unit precious seconds. As the team deployed from the damaged tank, Lucy stared in shock at the efficacy of the MC's attack, realizing he was far more potent than his test results suggested. The MC merely pulled out a conventional grenade, tossed it toward an encroaching cluster of beasts, and blasted them apart with a concussive burst of fire, attempting to cover up his unusual energy usage by mixing it with conventional attacks, all while noting that he could even replicate the Beast King's abilities if he had sufficient energy. Lucy confronted him, demanding how he managed such raw power, insisting that a normal person, or even a typical SRU member, shouldn't possess that capacity. The MC simply replied that he had learned a few tricks in his former clandestine unit, dodging her direct query. The fight intensified, forcing the squad to spread out. Another member, a dark-haired soldier, urged his comrades to stick together, engaging several Hound-class bugs, slicing them apart with twin short swords. Lucy, using rapid, wind-based techniques, soared across the battlefield, leaving streaks of blue energy in her wake as she executed a wind blade storm, decimating a huge cluster of the wasp-like creatures. However, the MC spotted a much greater threat emerging from the ground, the massive, hulking form of the queen wasp, a colossal, armored insectoid creature. He knew immediately that this enormous thing was the source of the high red mist concentration they had detected. The queen wasp, covered in thick yellow-black armor and razor-sharp red claws, let out a piercing shriek. The MC immediately charged, pulling a massive, jagged, dark red sword from his own body, which pulsed with crimson energy, the manifestation of his beastification ability. He channeled the dense red power, unleashing a potent strike known as the Scarlet Blade, aiming for the queen's vulnerable underside. The massive energy blade struck with devastating force, scoring a direct hit. But the queen wasp merely roared, shaking off the damage, its thick chitin armor proving almost impenetrable. Lucy, seeing the monstrous resilience of the queen, remarked in disbelief at the creature's speed and armor, realizing how much energy it would take just to scratch it. The MC, however, was running dangerously low on his internal red mist energy, acknowledging that with the beast core fragmented and incomplete within him, he couldn't sustain this level of power. The queen wasp retaliated by extending its massive, spiked tail, aiming a deadly stinger attack at the MC, who barely managed to leap back, shouting a warning to Han Hao. He was hit, but the queen's attack was clumsy, merely scraping his armor. Meanwhile, Lucy desperately tried to analyze the situation, confirming that the queen wasp was actively absorbing the pervasive red mist swirling around the nest, causing it to evolve in real time right before their eyes. The queen was transforming, growing thicker, more menacing, and radiating an overwhelming power that Lucy knew surpassed the Dominator class they had initially identified. She realized that allowing this evolution to complete would be catastrophic, transforming the queen into an Overlord-class monster. Lucy urged the MC to retreat, concerned for his depleted state and questioning why he was throwing himself into such a suicidal fight. The MC fixed the rapidly evolving queen with an unwavering glare, rejecting the notion of retreat, explaining that the high concentration of red mist meant an incredibly rare, powerful beast core was forming inside the queen, a prize too valuable to leave behind. He dodged a massive claw swipe, narrowly avoiding being skewered, then spotted the perfect opening, the huge, dagger-like stinger that the beast had embedded in the earth after its last clumsy attack. With a rapid surge of adrenaline, the MC sprinted toward the stinger, intending to seize the dangerous organic weapon. He used a powerful uppercut, launching himself into the air and channeling his residual red mist, managing to tear the massive, segmented stinger free from the queen's body. As he landed, the monstrous stinger in his hand, the MC immediately performed beastification. Bind, a unique skill that transformed the organic weapon into a massive, jagged, pulsing sword made of concentrated red mist. The sword, crackling with absorbed energy, immediately recharged a portion of his internal core. The queen wasp roared in fury, attacking with even greater ferocity, but the MC, energized by his new weapon, declared that since the queen had graciously gifted him this perfect weapon, he would return the favor. He channeled every last ounce of red mist energy he possessed into the newly bound stinger sword, launching himself forward in a blinding attack, shouting, "Red mist slash!" The resulting strike hit the queen wasp with earth-shattering power, manifesting as a colossal crimson explosion that ripped through the mist-shrouded battlefield. The MC, breathless, landed heavily on the scorched earth, anxiously checking the remnants of the blast, wondering if his desperate gamble had paid off. From the swirling dust, a massive, dark object tumbled, the gargantuan queen wasp, now visibly damaged. But as he watched, the enormous insect began absorbing the pervasive red mist from the environment, frantically attempting to repair itself and continue its evolution. Lucy, observing the desperate, energy-sucking behavior, grimaced, realizing that the analyzer she had used earlier had been tampered with to show a deceptively low reading. The red mist level was now spiking to Tier 4, confirming that the nest was far higher tier than they anticipated. Simultaneously, Queen Wasp let out a deafening roar, and a fresh horde of Hound-class wasps swarmed from the rear, placing the entire SRU team in immediate danger. The MC made a critical, immediate decision, ordering the others to handle the swarm while he dealt with the queen, knowing he had to finish what he started. Just as he moved to attack the half-destroyed queen, a silver blur streaked past him. It was Alicia/Alice, now utilizing her full combat armor and weaponry, unleashing a devastating electromagnetic attack. Her electromagnetic annihilation technique generated a high-voltage field that slammed into the queen wasp, temporarily paralyzing the behemoth. The rest of the squad, led by Lucy, who was now forced to acknowledge Alicia's incredible power, immediately focused their fire on the paralyzed swarm, quickly annihilating the remaining bugs. Alicia, observing the paralyzed queen, confirmed its identity as the Dominator-class queen wasp reported in Lucy's intel, noting that since it was fleeing and paralyzed, it wouldn't escape. She ordered her team to prioritize the clearance of the remaining swarm and rescue the trapped soldiers. The MC watched, deeply impressed by Alicia's sheer firepower, realizing she hadn't utilized her main equipment during the previous skirmish at Redstone City. He also quickly located the Queen Wasp's core, which had been ejected during Alicia's attack, a massive crimson-tinged Dominator-class beast core. He swiftly moved to seize the prize, confirming that the energy radiating from it was overwhelmingly potent, instantly replenishing his own depleted internal crystal core. The overwhelming surge of raw power momentarily staggered the MC. Just as he recovered, preparing to deliver the final blow to the paralyzed queen and claim its ultimate core, Alicia and the rest of the squad turned, having wiped out the surrounding swarm. Alicia ordered her team to reinforce Caleb, the MC, noting the swarm had suddenly weakened. The MC, still hidden by the swirling red mist, seized his moment, channeling all his remaining energy back into the queen's stinger, which was now a fierce, crimson weapon. With a defiant battle cry, he plunged the scarlet sword deep into the Queen Wasp's vulnerable head, finally executing a definitive red mist slash. The force of the attack was tremendous, resulting in a final, cataclysmic explosion. When the smoke cleared, the Queen Wasp was gone, leaving only a cloud of dark dust, and lying conspicuously amongst the debris, a single glowing red shard. The MC snatched the shard, recognizing it instantly, a Dominator-class beast core. He smiled triumphantly, securing the energy source that would fuel his next evolution. Alicia and Lucy rushed over, realizing the MC had risked everything to deal the finishing blow. Alicia saw the discarded stinger sword, now reverting to its organic form, and understood the MC had used the beast's own weapon against it. A woman with long white hair urgently reports a medical crisis, announcing that the patient is suffering from tachycardia and a neural signal collapse. On the floor below, a muscular, bare-chested man with black hair lies unconscious, with various markings on his skin and wires connected to his body. A blonde woman in a similar uniform kneels beside him, operating a portable laptop-like device connected to the wires. Another character voices their concern, stating that the man has been exposed to too much red mist and could lose his mind. The man, Caleb, grimaces in pain as red veins bulge on his shoulder where an electrode patch is attached. The white-haired commander, her face hardened with determination, issues a sharp order to a man in armor, Lieutenant Mayhem, telling him to deploy the mobile medpod and block all neural transmissions. He snaps back a confirmation, saying, "Yes, ma'am." The scene shifts to a temporary camp on the perimeter of a beast tide, where an armored vehicle kicks up dust as it speeds across the desert terrain. A man in a black hoodie and cap stands outside the vehicle and asks Lieutenant Mayhem about Caleb's condition, receiving the answer that he is stable for now. Inside, Caleb is being placed into a futuristic white medpod. The commander identifies the blonde woman as Lucy, the tech officer, and tasks her with adjusting and monitoring the medpod's parameters. Lucy acknowledges the order, and the pod lid shuts with a soft thud. A display on the pod indicates it has been activated and that anesthesia has been administered. The commander remarks that this is only a temporary fix, and they need to get him back to headquarters immediately. Lucy, looking worried, says she knows. Caleb's consciousness drifts into a dark, red-tinged void where a voice tempts him to surrender his body and embrace the beastification. A demonic black and red version of himself, with a glowing red core in its chest, grabs the real Caleb by the throat. The demonic entity hisses as Caleb, overwhelmed, wonders if he is dying. His mind is flooded with traumatic memories. A distressed man and a crying child, a screaming woman with a bleeding face, and a young girl apologizing to her mom, dad, and someone named Sandra. Another memory shows a young woman with red cracks on her face screaming in terror before a young Caleb holds her close, as a voice in his mind whispers that it's all over. In the void, Caleb's body hits the ground with a thud. Memories of his parents flash before him. His father tells him to take care of his sister, and his mother pleads with him to live. Back in the present, his inner demon crouches over his physical body, but his mind is filled with a memory of a young woman telling him to promise he'll come back safely, and he realizes Sandra is still waiting for him. Voices of his comrades echo in his mind, calling him a warrior, telling him to focus because the fight isn't over, and encouraging him that he can do it. They refuse to let him give up like this, yelling for him to snap out of it and wake up. In the void, Caleb is shown with chains around his neck, his eyes glowing red. He screams that everyone is waiting for him, refusing to accept that it's over and declaring that he will survive. He vows to find Sandra and protect everyone he cares about, breaking free from his demonic self in a surge of power, roaring that he won't fall here. He tells his inner demon that this isn't just his duty, it's theirs too. With a final burst of energy, he shatters the chains and the red energy constructs surrounding him, sending crimson shards flying from his back. He pants heavily, touching a newly formed red crystal on his chest, wondering if this cost is the price of becoming stronger, musing that every breakthrough feels like dancing over an abyss. Suddenly, he finds himself paralyzed, unable to open his eyes or move. The sound of a fierce howl echoes as the convoy of armored vehicles drives through a howling sandstorm. The driver, a man in a cap, yells that the sandstorm is too thick to see the road and it's too dangerous to drive. The captain, Lieutenant Mayhem, spots old city ruins 3 clicks ahead and asks if they should take shelter. The white-haired commander, arms crossed, asks Lucy for Caleb's status. Lucy reports from her laptop that his vitals are stable, but he's still unconscious. The commander grits her teeth, addressing Lieutenant Mayhem. She orders him to head for the ruins and tell the rear vehicles to follow. The convoy pushes through the storm and enters the dilapidated city, with the commander shouting for everyone to get out and regroup. She then orders a scan for structural stability, mist density, and heat signatures, to which someone replies on it. Soldiers disembark, and the commander emphasizes that protecting Caleb is HQ's top priority. They form a protective circle around his medpod as cloaked figures with glowing red eyes emerge from the shadows, one of them loading a crossbow with a clacking sound. A volley of arrows whistles through the air, and the lieutenant yells for everyone to take cover as one of the soldiers is hit. The lieutenant activates an ability called Hardening, his arm glowing with a cracked, golden energy as he prepares to fight. Lucy watches in horror as an arrow coated in a green substance hits one of the vehicles and releases a cloud of gas, identifying it as venom wasp fluid. A large rock is then hurled from above, and the commander shouts for everyone to take cover as it smashes into the ground. The medpod is thrown by the impact, sliding across the pavement as a bolt of purple lightning strikes it. The commander, crackling with the same energy, leaps into action. Lieutenant Mayhem warns her to watch out for debris as rocks rain down, one striking his hardened back while he shields Lucy. Hooded assailants descend from the upper levels, shouting not to let them escape and to take everything. Other figures throw green bottles that shatter on the ground. The commander asks what they are as the bottles release a glowing, viscous green fluid that erupts upon impact. One of the soldiers cries out that it's Dominator-class beast fluid, and the resulting gas is paralyzing. The commander covers her mouth as the green gas spreads. The assailants shout to charge and kill them all. An eye-patch-wearing man in a black cloak lunges at the commander, yelling for the sweetheart to hand over the goods. She tells him to get lost, blasting him with a powerful discharge of purple lightning that sends him flying. A massive chain with a hook slams down, narrowly missing the commander but striking the medpod. She finds herself unable to move, realizing with a curse that she's paralyzed. The assailants shout that it's hooked and begin to pull. One of them gleefully notes how fiercely the soldiers are guarding the metal box, concluding there must be treasure inside. Lucy, watching them drag the medpod away, screams for them to leave him alone. As she runs forward, an arrow pierces her leg, causing her to cry out in pain. She collapses, calling out Caleb's name as she watches the hooded figures disappear with the medpod. In the darkness of the sealed container, Caleb's body begins to glow with a fiery red energy, patterns of light spreading across his chest as he hisses. The monumental confrontation in the heart of the ruined city began instantly as the monstrous, crystalline-armored Overlord beast unleashed its chaotic, electrifying wrath, bathing the desolate landscape in brilliant, dangerous purple lightning, prompting the MC, Yan Hao, to declare grimly, "I can see the stats," confirming the formidable threat they faced, while Captain Song and her team surrounded the creature, exchanging terse tactical updates under the lethal glow of the storm. Captain Song quickly ordered her team to prepare for coordinated defense, specifically instructing them that if the MC, Yan Hao, were injured, they were to retreat immediately and not engage, an order the MC quickly countered, warning her, "Don't run. Let me deal with this guy first," showing a remarkable shift in confidence. The MC was immediately validated in his concern, as the beast launched a devastating frontal assault, smashing down with colossal limbs wrapped in blinding electrical energy, forcing the MC to shout, "Move." As he narrowly evaded the crushing blow, the impact creating a massive crater and sending shockwaves rippling through the environment. Observing the creature's immense destructive power and realizing that traditional head-on combat was suicidal, the MC retreated, analyzing the beast's movements with keen concentration as Captain Song and her team executed a tactical retreat to a safer distance. The MC communicated his strategy, observing that the Overlord beast was an elemental monster controlled by a beast core, giving it devastating elemental power, but also limiting its tactical flexibility, noting specifically that it possessed electromagnetic chaos and the ability to enhance its speed, making it an extraordinarily dangerous target. prompting a team member to confirm they had indeed found information on elemental taming facilities that might be linked to this type of evolved monster. The MC focused intensely, his brow furrowed in concentration as he calculated his next move against the electrified creature, observing its devastating speed, which he noted meant only one thing. He needed to exploit the beast's raw power and lack of finesse. The MC initiated his plan, launching an attack that seemed deliberately risky, allowing the beast to charge and strike, only for the MC to use the momentary distraction to land a clean blow right into the creature's midsection, ripping through the shadowy armor and drawing a shower of purple, crystallized blood, confirming his theory that direct physical damage was possible if perfectly timed. However, the retaliatory strike from the beast was instant and brutal, a massive electromagnetic blast that struck the MC square in the chest, forcing him to skid backward violently, yet he only suffered minor injuries, a testament to his upgraded resilience. Captain Song, watching the near-fatal blow, called out to the MC, confirming that they had captured one of the energy emitters controlling the smaller beasts nearby, and asked if he was okay to proceed, to which the MC replied, "Of course," explaining his tactic. He needed them to generate an electromagnetic pulse to throw the beast off balance, requiring him to draw the beast closer, a risky maneuver that Captain Song immediately agreed to. The MC then executed his high-risk gambit, activating his acceleration ability and closing the distance to the giant monster, timing his movements perfectly as he positioned himself exactly where he needed to be just as Captain Song's team unleashed the coordinated EMP. The blast hit the Overlord beast, momentarily destabilizing its electromagnetic shield, causing massive fissures to appear in its armor, an opportunity the MC seized immediately, striking with calculated precision, noting internally that this move would temporarily reduce its speed and armor strength. Before the MC could capitalize further on the weakened state of the first Overlord beast, an entirely new, terrifying threat materialized. A green, serpentine, raptor-like creature with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth, roaring aggressively. An opponent Captain Song immediately recognized as another Overlord-class beast. The MC barely had time to register the new arrival before the green beast lunged with terrifying speed, forcing him to instinctively dodge backward, noting the creature's incredible swiftness. The appearance of a second Overlord-class beast shocked the MC's subordinates, especially a burly, mustached man and the subordinate named Yan Hao, who watched helplessly as the MC was forced into a desperate battle against both titans. Suddenly, the sleek green beast vanished, exploiting a camouflage or speed-based stealth skill, making Captain Song realize that this creature was significantly stronger and more dangerous than the purple one they were currently targeting. The MC attempted to locate the invisible threat, his eyes darting frantically, only for the green monster to reappear instantly right behind him, teeth bared for a killing strike, forcing him to utilize his ultimate evasion ability to barely slip away from its massive jaws. Captain Song screamed Yan Hao's name in distress, observing how the beast's sheer size threatened to swallow him whole. The MC, driven by pure adrenaline and tactical desperation, launched himself directly into the beast's open maw, using his blades to carve deep internal wounds, stunning the creature with the unexpected assault from within. He burst out, confirming that while its armor was weaker than the purple beast's, its agility and stealth made it a terrifying assassin, requiring swift elimination. The MC was momentarily saved by the intervention of Captain Song, who, using her own skills, fired a powerful energy blast toward the beast, distracting it just long enough for the MC to charge up a crimson energy attack, a destructive requalification blast, which he unleashed directly into the beast's head, shattering its skull and killing it instantly. The elimination of the green beast provided a brief respite, but the MC was visibly exhausted, clutching his side where the electromagnetic blast had bruised him, yet he quickly confirmed to Captain Song that he was physically fine, noting that the stealth beast's attack speed was dangerously high. Captain Song theorized that the beast's attack was a dimensional shifting attack, giving it seemingly instantaneous movement and striking power, something that would necessitate extreme caution for the remaining enemies. The MC realized he needed a new strategy against the still formidable purple Overlord, which was rapidly recovering from the EMP, and decided to employ a radical new maneuver, using a blue energy effect that seemed to manipulate gravity or repulsion to keep the beast at bay. Captain Song immediately recognized this energy as a lightning aegis, an advanced skill, and wondered aloud how the MC had managed to procure such complex abilities. But the MC simply shrugged it off, instructing her to maintain the pressure. The MC combined his lightning aegis with his high-speed movement, turning into a blur of black and blue energy, utilizing a sequence of blindingly fast strikes that hit the purple beast repeatedly. Just as he landed the critical blows, the Overlord beast suddenly vanished, leaving behind only crackling blue energy residue, causing Captain Song to gasp. It disappeared. The MC quickly deduced that the creature hadn't disappeared, but had utilized a high-level camouflage combined with its speed to retreat, confirming that they had successfully weakened it enough to escape for the moment. But the core was still active somewhere. Captain Song, however, was already focused on the priority, the defeated green Overlord-class beast, instructing the MC to focus on absorbing its core while they covered him. The MC approached the massive corpse, noting the residual terrifying power still emanating from the carcass, and began the absorption process. As the absorption completed, a powerful surge of energy coursed through the MC's body, granting him the new skill, *plunder skill, shadow sneak *, essentially inheriting the invisibility and movement buff of the slain beast. Before they could properly celebrate the acquisition, the atmosphere chilled dramatically with the appearance of a new figure. A terrifying male fighter clad in dark red stylized armor, moving with impossible speed. This new enemy immediately attacked Yahello, the subordinate, landing a powerful, brutal blow that tore through his defenses, shocking everyone present with his ferocity. The new enemy, moving like lightning, struck again, landing a second devastating blow to the subordinate's chest, causing him to fall bleeding to the ground while screaming in agony. Captain Song and her remaining team members were paralyzed, watching their teammate collapse, unable to react to the sheer speed of the red-armored assailant. The MC, reacting instantaneously, used his newfound speed to position himself defensively between the attacker and the injured subordinate, demanding to know what the assailant wanted. The red figure, pausing only slightly, looked at the MC with a wicked grin, stating that he only wanted to know who had given the MC the order to interfere with his mission, hinting at a higher organization conflict. Captain Song quickly ordered the evacuation of the injured subordinate, ensuring he had the necessary medical supplies, while the red figure continued to circle menacingly, demonstrating terrifying agility. The MC watched his subordinate, Yahello, being dragged to safety, the realization dawning on him that they had been ambushed by a completely different class of enemy, something far more sinister than the elemental beasts. Captain Song, realizing the gravity of the situation, handed the MC a vital piece of encrypted data, a microchip, and instructed him that if she did not return, he was to report the information only to the highest level, making it clear she was prepared to sacrifice herself. She then executed a strategic retreat under the guise of an all-out missile strike, sacrificing a significant portion of their remaining ammunition and firepower to create a smokescreen, which the MC noted was clearly a desperation move. As the intense missile barrage erupted around the red figure, creating a massive explosion of fire and metal shrapnel, the MC saw the opportunity to escape and executed his new *shadow sneak * skill, disappearing completely into the chaos. The red figure, however, emerged completely unscathed from the apocalyptic explosion, casually inspecting his surroundings, utterly unfazed by the concentrated assault. He detected the MC's residual presence and unleashed a powerful sonic attack toward the MC's approximate location, forcing the MC to momentarily reveal himself to dodge the blast. Though the red figure still couldn't precisely pin him down. The MC recognized that the red figure, who addressed him as Captain Zhang, seemed to know him, noting the enemy's incredible combat power and regeneration, classifying him as an inactivation-level threat, a terrifying designation. The red figure, smirking violently, confirmed that the MC must be the famous Captain Zhang who had successfully integrated the shadow sneak ability, noting that the MC's current level was still too weak to permanently evade him. The MC managed to land a powerful punch on the red figure, which barely registered, forcing the red figure to counter with a devastating kick that sent the MC flying backward into a wall. The MC crashed onto a platform where the other subordinate, Wan Mai, and Captain Song were waiting, forcing them to quickly recover and regroup, rushing to the escape vehicle and securing the Overlord core that the MC had retrieved. As they sped away, the red figure watched them go, telling himself that the capture could wait, but Captain Zhang's integration of the shadow sneak skill meant he would be far more useful alive than dead. The scene shifts dramatically as the MC is later shown submerged in a deep green liquid within a cylindrical containment unit. Text overlays describe the Overlord class stealth beast core being successfully absorbed, and a detailed breakdown of the plunder skill, shadow sneak ability, allowing him to enter a stealth state, greatly increasing his movement speed while ensuring a guaranteed critical hit. The MC, dripping wet and breathing heavily, emerges from the healing tank, his eyes glowing with purple energy, having fully integrated the new power. The mood instantly darkens as he looks down at the bloodied clothes of the injured subordinate, Yan Hao, and asks Captain Song who was responsible, his voice laced with venom. Captain Song, visibly shaken, explained that they were currently underground in a highly restricted military research facility, using the code name Test Subject A1-02-07 to refer to the MC, suggesting that his enhanced abilities and integration method were highly classified. A large contingent of armed guards rushed into the hangar bay, having received the alert about the injured subordinate, only to see the MC standing there. The MC, utilizing the shadow sneak skill, instantly disappeared from view, leaving the guards confused and panicked, shouting, "What happened? The target is gone." The MC reappeared behind the guard detail, instantly incapacitating them with rapid strikes, ensuring the area was clear before Captain Song and her team could be compromised. Captain Song, who had been instructing her team to secure the valuable Overlord core data, suddenly found herself confronted by an aggressive, blonde-haired woman named Captain Tia, who demanded to know what she was doing with classified data, initiating a physical altercation. Captain Tia, backed by her own Special Forces unit, wrestled with Captain Song, attempting to take the data chip, revealing that Captain Song was previously believed to be a double agent, working for a private security conglomerate. The MC reappeared, intervening just as Captain Tia was about to subdue Captain Song, placing himself directly between the two, shocking Captain Tia with his sudden appearance and menacing presence. The MC grabbed Captain Tia by the neck, demanding information about the red-armored assailant, but Captain Tia only offered a cryptic message. The red figure was a high-level experimental subject like himself, designed to retrieve or eliminate others with similar experimental cores, referring to the red figure as Crimson Reaper. Captain Tia explained that the experimental data which the MC possessed detailed their creation and origins, confirming that the Crimson Reaper was an original subject who had escaped and was now hunting others. The MC released Captain Tia, watching as she staggered back, and then turned his attention to a new threat, the reappearance of the red-armored man, the Crimson Reaper, who had somehow tracked them to the highly secure underground facility, casually stepping over the incapacitated guards. Captain Tia instantly ordered her team to stand down, realizing that the Reaper was too dangerous for them. But the Reaper merely smiled, announcing that Captain Song's team had been deemed high-risk targets for escaping with the core and data. The Crimson Reaper immediately lunged at the blonde Captain Tia, intending a killing blow. But Captain Song intervened, throwing herself between the Reaper and Tia, attempting to shield her rival, which infuriated the Reaper, who now saw Captain Song as a serious nuisance. The Reaper responded by unleashing a volley of razor-sharp, dark red tendrils from his armor, slicing through the air with terrifying speed, forcing Captain Song into a brutal defensive posture, but she was quickly overwhelmed, bleeding heavily from multiple cuts. The MC finally stepped in, engaging the Crimson Reaper directly, matching the Reaper's brutal speed and power with his own new shadow sneak ability, the two figures blurring into streaks of red and black violence. During the frenzied exchange of blows, the MC managed to land a solid hit, noting internally that even this highly evolved monster had limits and vulnerabilities. However, the Crimson Reaper quickly recovered, unleashing another devastating burst of power that ripped through the ground, sending shrapnel everywhere and overwhelming the MC. The MC was thrown back, severely injured, landing near the downed Captain Song, who apologized for interfering, noting that she had just bought him a few precious seconds. The Crimson Reaper stalked towards the downed pair, mocking the MC, stating that despite integrating the shadow sneak, the MC was still too weak to challenge him, preparing to deliver the final blow. Before the Reaper could strike, another figure appeared, the red-jacketed male ally from earlier, who intervened with a ferocious counterattack, momentarily stopping the Reaper, stunning everyone with his unexpected power. This ally revealed himself to be Captain Zhang, the true one whose identity the MC had been temporarily using for operational reasons. Captain Zhang, moving with blinding speed, engaged the Crimson Reaper in a brutal, high-level combat sequence, demonstrating absolute mastery over his own lightning and melee abilities, shocking the Reaper with his ferocity. The MC, still reeling from his injuries, watched as Captain Zhang fought, confirming that this was the real deal, realizing he had been fighting at a whole different level. Captain Zhang quickly gained the upper hand, unleashing a devastating golden energy attack that shattered the Reaper's defenses and sent him flying backward in a massive explosion of light and power. The Reaper, though severely damaged, still managed to retreat rapidly, promising Captain Zhang that this wasn't over. Captain Zhang confirmed to the MC that the enemy was gone, explaining that he had only intervened because the MC's existence was currently vital to their greater plan, emphasizing that the MC was merely a pawn whose utility was tied to surviving. Captain Song, recovering, informed Captain Zhang that the MC had successfully retrieved the Overlord core and the necessary data. Captain Zhang then revealed the shocking truth to the MC. He knew exactly where the facility was that created the Crimson Reaper, noting that it was a classified underground base used for mass production of these experimental subjects. He directed the MC to follow him, leading the injured team toward a hidden manhole cover, instructing them to enter the deep underground tunnels. As the MC and Captain Song descended into the darkness, the oppressive atmosphere instantly intensified, the MC feeling a suffocating pressure, realizing that the tunnel was alive with shadowy, terrifying energy. The MC looked down, his eyes widening in alarm, seeing enormous purple and dark shadows writhing deep within the cavernous tunnel. Captain Zhang confirmed their location, noting with a dark edge to his voice, "There's something here," indicating that the real danger had just begun. The final image shows the MC deep in the shadows, heading toward an unknown, menacing presence, his mission pivoting from simple extraction to deep infiltration of a terrifying unknown. The intense, high-stakes battle rages on, featuring the MC fighting against the formidable Red Cape commander while simultaneously carrying the injured Captain Zhu, who is currently referred to simply as Mei by the MC, demonstrating impossible agility as he ducks and weaves through devastating sonic attacks. The enemy, the red-cloaked man, launches a fierce sonic punch attack, a rapid forward thrust of golden energy, but the MC is far too quick, shifting his body barely an inch to evade the strike, prompting the enemy to realize the MC is deliberately using the injured woman as both a shield and a distraction. The MC maintains a grim expression, confirming that he is indeed limiting his combat capabilities just to protect Mei. He explains that once she is safe, he will unleash his true power, a prospect that visibly unnerves Mei. Lin Shuan, the Red Cape commander, sneers, questioning if the MC truly believes a mere human can stop him, only to have Mei interject, calmly stating that she knows the MC's secret and understands the risks of him going all out. Lin Shuan, realizing the MC is not easily intimidated, conjures a massive, razor-sharp beam of gold-infused energy, initiating a sonic blade attack, which the MC manages to deflect at the last moment, noting the blade's terrifying speed and raw kinetic force. As the confrontation escalates, Lin Shuan begins deploying rotating rings of pure sonic energy, intending to restrict the MC's movement. Suddenly, a stocky, bald associate of Lin Shuan attempts to surprise the MC with a knife, but the MC easily parries the strike. The chubby subordinate is instantly recognized by the MC, who correctly identifies him as someone involved in the previous incident. But it is Mei who drops the real bombshell. She tells the MC that the Red Cape commander is actually Lin Shuan, the leader of the Black Hawk organization, a revelation that shocks the chubby man. Realizing the MC is an overwhelming threat, the subordinate panics and tries to flee, only to be stopped by the MC unleashing a burst of raw, blinding white energy, forcing the man back. Lin Shuan attacks once more, transforming his aura into a massive crimson armored phantom, striking with overwhelming force, but the MC evades the strike, judging the attack as relying purely on brute strength. Lin Shuan then deploys his ultimate close combat technique, generating myriad razor-sharp red appendages from his body that shred the surrounding environment, striking the MC multiple times, causing him to cough up blood and sustain superficial injuries. The MC, though wounded, remains upright, observing Lin Shuan's stunned expression as the enemy realizes his best attack failed to stop him. Mei, seeing the MC's grim determination, suggests surrendering, but the MC refuses, explaining that they haven't gathered enough information on Lin Shuan's abilities yet. Mei smiles mysteriously, announcing she has an idea, a diversion that requires shocking commitment. Before the MC can react, she lunges forward and presses her lips against his in a sudden, deliberate kiss, transferring an immense, glowing blue energy source directly into the MC's body through his mouth, an act of sheer physical and magical sacrifice that leaves the MC stunned and momentarily bleeding from his eyes. Mei whispers that this is her offering, telling him to accept the energy. Lin Shuan witnesses this exchange and is enraged, calling the MC a pathetic ant and declaring he will never allow them to escape. The MC's energy signature instantly explodes, his eyes turning a dangerous crimson red as the new power takes hold. With his newfound overwhelming speed, the MC delivers a blinding counterattack, generating powerful white energy blades that shred the air around Lin Shuan, causing the commander to stagger backward, momentarily immobilized by the shockwave. The blonde girl, Hong Yun, attempts to intervene with a burst of wind-based powers, but the MC is simply too fast. Lin Shuan recovers and charges a colossal fist wrapped in crimson energy, shouting his intention to send the MC straight to hell. As Lin Shuan's punch lands, he realizes the MC's image is flickering, confirming that his target was only an afterimage. The MC appears behind him, delivering a single, focused, devastating punch crackling with blue-white energy. Lin Shuan is utterly defeated, reduced to a bloody heap on the ground, questioning the terrifying nature of this monster. The MC, his eyes still burning crimson, stands over the defeated leader and coldly demands to know the location of Mr. Hong. The environment shifts, revealing a pristine, high-tech interior where the defeated Lin Shuan lies on the ground. A man in a distinctively striped green suit, whom we identify as Mr. Hong, observes the damage, commenting that Lin Shuan's injuries are severe and require immediate data extraction. Mr. Hong, sitting comfortably in a plush office chair, directs his subordinates to stabilize the Black Hawk leader. He then orders the MC to be brought forward, exhibiting an air of casual menace. When the MC appears, Mr. Hong casually explains that the entire confrontation was merely an experiment. Lin Shuan was essentially a sacrifice, meant to gauge the MC's full combat potential, confirming the MC is exponentially stronger than expected. The chubby subordinate, who is now being used as a guard, nervously confirms the MC's identity as Lin Huang. Mr. Hong, leaning forward, proposes a partnership, offering the MC access to all the organization's resources and technology, claiming this is the best future for him. The MC, cautious but still seeking answers, observes as Hong Yun, the blonde fighter, is treated by a field medic, her injuries significant. The MC steps forward and uses his own healing power, transferring a restorative blue energy into Hong Yun, instantly closing her wounds and revitalizing her, shocking the medical staff and Hong Yun herself. The MC then checks on Mei, who is now resting inside a complex medical life support pod. Hong Yun approaches the MC, explaining that his power perfectly matches their research on bioenergy synthesis. She shows him a colossal holographic display of a massive, red, humanoid creature, confirming that their objective is the creation of a super life form. Suddenly, Mei, stabilized within the capsule, speaks, warning the MC not to trust them. She reveals the immense cost of her earlier action, stating she transferred her scarlet nucleus, her entire energy core, to the MC. She warns him that the scarlet nucleus is a source of phenomenal but dangerously unstable power. She admits she was forced to sacrifice her energy to save him and prevent his power from being utilized by the organization. Mr. Hong re-enters the room, noting the scarlet nucleus transfer with chilling detachment, claiming it's an outcome he predicted. The Black Hawk guards immediately move to restrain the MC. The MC unleashes a quick burst of force, easily tossing the guards aside. Mei, realizing the critical moment, uses her last vestiges of energy to activate the bio-weapon on the holographic display. With a flash of red light, the chamber bursts open, and the monstrous, dragon-like scarlet beast materializes, roaring in uncontrolled fury. Mei explains that she is creating a massive diversion and that the MC must use this chance to escape. The MC pulls the now visible, pulsating scarlet nucleus from Mei's chest, the core of her power, stating that he will not allow the organization to weaponize this power. He condemns Mr. Hong's cruelty and leaps out of the facility just as the scarlet beast erupts in destructive rage. Outside, a vast fleet of armed aerial combat units surrounds the facility, oblivious to the monstrous threat emerging. The pilots nervously observe the ground, commenting that they haven't heard from the combat team and wondering about the strange silence. Their confusion ends instantly as the colossal red-winged scarlet beast explodes from the building, its massive form eclipsing the sky. The creature unleashes a deafening roar, immediately engaging the military aircraft, swatting them out of the sky like flies. The MC watches from a distance, understanding the magnitude of the distraction Mei provided. He decides he must engage the beast directly to secure his escape route. Channeling the raw, unstable power of the scarlet nucleus, the MC charges a devastating strike. He lands a thunderous blow directly onto the scarlet beast's colossal jaw, temporarily staggering the creature. May, contacting him through a secure frequency, warns him that his current condition is highly unstable due to the incomplete absorption of the nucleus. The MC shrugs off her concern, stating he needs this fight to thoroughly test the limits of his newly acquired power. Hong Yun, having escaped the facility, joins the communication channel, acknowledging the MC's incredible power while maintaining a wary demeanor. The MC begins his strategic attack, using the Shadow Snare ability to bind the creature. He attempts a piercing strike against the beast's side, but its natural armor proves immensely durable, limiting his attack to minor damage. Captain Zhu, now identified as a separate blonde figure distinct from the previous May who sacrificed the nucleus, arrives and unleashes a powerful electrical attack, referred to as the mini version, specifically targeting the beast's nerve points, aiming to create a momentary weakness. Hong Yun follows up immediately, unleashing a fiery assault called Thunderbolt Burst, amplifying the damage of the electric strike. The two women work in tandem, generating an elemental cyclone of fire and lightning that crashes into the beast, impressing the MC with their synchronization. The battle becomes a continuous flurry of devastating attacks and desperate maneuvers. The MC is forced to constantly dodge the beast's sweeping attacks, sometimes getting scraped, but he maintains his composure. The monster, irritated by the persistent attacks, retaliates with an area of effect ice attack, freezing large sections of the battlefield. Captain Zhu, realizing the beast is resisting their normal efforts, prepares a high-risk move. Electromagnetic overdrive. She warns the MC that this surge of energy is dangerously unstable. As she unleashes the immense electrical power, Hong Yun fires the final, crucial attack, the Crimson Ember, a focused cone of white-hot fire. The combined forces strike the scarlet beast with unbelievable intensity, ripping a massive, gaping hole through its armored chest. The giant creature crashes to the ground, its life force rapidly diminishing. The MC rushes toward the fallen beast, recognizing the object throbbing within the exposed wound, the true source of power. He realizes that the beast was merely a host body and the core, the secondary beast nucleus, is still intact. With a guttural scream, enduring crippling pain as the nucleus's chaotic energy fights him, the MC reaches into the creature and violently extracts the pulsating, blood-red core. He absorbs the entirety of the scarlet nucleus, a torrent of raw, unrestrained power flooding his being. The sudden massive power infusion is too much, and the MC collapses, experiencing brief flashbacks of a past tragedy involving a girl named Xiao Zhu. He wakes 5 days later in a recovery bed, in a pristine, bright room. Captain Zhu explains he is safe within the central base of the organization, and that their enemies believe they all died in the massive explosion caused by the monster's destruction. She clarifies that the organization needs the MC, calling him instructor, and confirms that the higher-ups want him to work for them. The MC inquires about the organization's motives and the existence of the taming base. Hong Yun explains that the organization is deeply involved in bioresearch and energy synthesis. Captain Zhu then reveals that the organization was targeting him specifically because they knew his true identity was Guang Shi, a figure connected to the destruction of the taming base research facility. She explains that the organization wants to utilize his unique abilities, particularly his mastery over the scarlet nucleus, to restore the taming base. The MC presses her on the taming base's secrets, and Captain Zhu reluctantly reveals that the only way to reconstruct the base is to use the unique bioenergy synthesis method developed by the MC's own sister, Xiao Zhu, who was involved in the original research. Mr. Hong enters the room, confirming this information and reiterating his proposal. The MC helps them restore the taming base, and in exchange, they will use their vast network to locate Xiao Zhu. Captain Zhu strongly advises the MC to accept the offer, arguing that their current predicament requires external resources and protection. Mr. Hong nods in agreement, delegating the responsibility of supervising the MC to Hong Yun, now referred to as Yongxin. The MC stands alone, gazing out at the vast cityscape, weighing the cost of joining this morally gray organization. Concluding that dependence is unacceptable, he decides that the better path is independence, determining to become a hunter. The virtual training environment was a vast, sterile white room where countless metallic spheres drifted, simulating targets for the combatants below. Captain Liu, observing the scene on a massive holographic screen, noted that the training field had been modified to accommodate the sheer number of participants, emphasizing that mastering the system was crucial because survival depended on it. The MC, Tan Hao, stood out starkly among the dozens of recruits, his movements fluid as he demonstrated exceptional skill, prompting Captain Lu to remark to Captain Ling that Tan Hao's combat score in the virtual environment had reached an unbelievable 8,000 points, classifying him as a formidable, if arrogant, rank a candidate, a level typically reserved for seasoned hunters. The MC, having completed his solo run in the simulation, watched a holographic display showing his performance metrics. He was approached by Captain Lu, a stern man with dark hair who demanded to know what he was looking at, clearly annoyed by the MC's seemingly nonchalant attitude about his near-perfect score. Tan Hao simply replied that he wanted to see the final results, noting that 8,000 points, while impressive, was merely 80% of the maximum score, indicating his aspiration for absolute perfection. Captain Lu, bristling slightly at the MC's casual dismissal of such a high score, then introduced the rest of the team. The members of the 1st Combat Squad of the Central Military Academy, all serious-looking individuals clad in dark combat gear. The MC maintained his cool demeanor, assessing his future comrades who were observing him with a mixture of awe and suspicion. Among them, a blonde woman, Yan Hao, stood out, confidently walking up to the MC. He challenged him directly, her eyes glittering with ambition, stating that simply having raw strength wasn't enough. Loyalty and teamwork were just as vital for the Corps. The MC responded with a wry smile, asserting that strength asterisk was asterisk enough, confidently stating that if someone was stronger, anyone could be their subordinate. Yan Hao's expression darkened at his arrogance, and she stepped back, declaring that she would wait and see if his skills matched his inflated ego. Another cadet, a dark-haired man in the group, chimed in, demanding to know where the MC's courage came from to speak to their Captain Lu in such a dismissive manner. The MC calmly replied that it stemmed from his blazing blood Captain angle, a reference to his formidable self-proclaimed heritage or power set. Captain Lu intervened, commanding the MC to stop his needless posturing and show everyone what he truly possessed. The MC agreed, but only after criticizing Captain Lu for delaying the necessary demonstration, suggesting the captain was secretly fearful of his true capabilities. Captain Lu, clearly infuriated, warned the MC not to regret his impulsive words. The MC then turned his attention back to the training targets, drawing a sword that immediately began to crackle and glow with intense azure energy, manifesting crystalline shards of ice around the blade. He commanded Captain Lu to watch closely. With a breathtakingly fast movement, the MC unleashed his first ability, an ice slash, projecting a torrent of sharp, freezing projectiles that ripped through the holographic targets in a wide, devastating arc. He wasn't finished. He unleashed a torrent of concentrated ice power, tearing apart the synthetic environment with sheer, brutal force. Yan Hao watched, visibly shaken and impressed by the magnitude of the attack. Just as the ice settled, the MC abruptly shifted his power, the azure ice dissolving to be instantly replaced by a raging torrent of scarlet flames. He declared his intent to use his blazing blood Captain angle power, cloaked entirely now in aggressive, licking fire. The raw heat emanating from him was palpable, confirming the terrifying versatility of his dual abilities. Captain Lu, regaining his composure, simply stated that his strength was indeed admirable, acknowledging the MC's raw power, but reaffirmed that strength alone was insufficient for true combat success. The MC, unperturbed, stated that he never claimed he was going to join the Corps, revealing the whole demonstration was merely a formality to assess his current level. Yan Hao, shocked, confronted him, asking why he would waste their time if he wasn't going to join the military alliance. The MC explained that someone had requested this mandatory assessment, and that person, who was far more reliable than anyone present, held a power of attorney over him. He then dramatically showed his identification card, revealing the name, Song Yun, the blonde woman who had previously shown an almost proprietary interest in him. Yan Hao, recognizing the name, was momentarily stunned, whispering in realization about the identity of the person who could exert such influence. The MC smirked, confirming that he was indeed Song Yun's ward, legally bound to her instructions. 1 month later, the scene shifted to an opulent, luxurious office setting. An older, distinguished man in a white suit, clearly a high-ranking official, was speaking with the aforementioned Song Yun. He congratulated her on securing the exceptionally talented Tan Hao for the alliance, noting that obtaining someone with his potential, regardless of their complicated background, was a major victory. Song Yun, dressed in a sharp business suit, maintained a professional, somewhat cold demeanor, observing a holographic image of the MC fighting a monstrous, purple-skinned beast, a beastman of unusual strength. The official cautioned her about the MC's rebellious nature, warning her that keeping such a volatile resource contained would be challenging. Song Yun assured him that she was well aware of Tan Hao's complexities, acknowledging his past ties to the Shadow Alliance and the fact that he was essentially an experiment, a mutated human who possessed abilities beyond human comprehension. She then showed him another confidential photograph, this one depicting a young woman with long white-blue hair, confirming that this girl, whose name was Lin, had been involved in the incident where the MC's power was first fully observed. The official confirmed that Lin was currently undergoing treatment. Song Yun reiterated that the MC was currently unaware that Lin was alive and undergoing modification. The official, now more suspicious, questioned what Song Yun truly wanted from the MC, given her clandestine operations. Song Yun's expression turned predatory as she produced a syringe. She confessed that she wanted his complete devotion and control, planning to remove all his memories of the Shadow Alliance and the trauma associated with his past. She was convinced that erasing his history was the only way to fully harness his power. In a separate, richly decorated room, Song Yun was approached by a sharp-featured man with white hair, Commander Hong. She explained that Commander Hong was the one who had provided the intelligence about the MC's true capabilities. Commander Hong, looking intensely serious, remarked that he never expected Song Yun to use a young woman as bait to control the MC. Song Yun, having changed into a white bath towel, laughed softly, reminding him that the MC was essentially a weapon, and she intended to use every means necessary to turn him against the Shadow Alliance and gain access to their high-level intelligence. Commander Hong then revealed that he knew of another young woman, named Jin Ying, who possessed similar unique traits. Song Yun was instantly interested, realizing the immense potential of capturing multiple subjects. Commander Hong explained that Jin Ying was being held by the Legion, a rival organization. Song Yun, frustrated but composed, realized this complicated things but ordered Hong to provide all necessary details. Commander Hong agreed, but only after warning her that capturing Jin Ying would put them directly in conflict with the Legion, a move that could expose their activities. Song Yun, now dressed in tactical gear, was determined, stating that nothing would stop her, not even the risk of exposure. Meanwhile, an urgent alert was shown, indicating an underground disturbance. In another location, deep within an underground facility, Jin Ying, the white-haired woman, was speaking to a blonde girl, Su Rui. Jin Ying, looking distraught, stated that if she had mustered the courage to properly confess her feelings to someone, implied to be the MC, things might have been different. She affirmed her resolve, however, stating she wouldn't back down again. If Su Rui gave her the courage, she would definitely turn back into a human. The scene dramatically shifted to the base cafeteria, a stark contrast to the previous tension. The MC and Yan Hao were eating, joined by another companion, Brother Tan. Yan Hao enthusiastically wolfed down her meal, commenting on how much she loved the food, noting she hadn't had such a good meal in over a year. The MC, Tan Hao, ate stoically, remarking that while the food was great, the world outside was full of starving people, urging his companions to finish quickly as they had an examination coming up. Brother Tan then asked Yan Hao why their teammate Lin hadn't joined them. Yan Hao's expression fell, and she explained that Lin was still recovering from a recent mission accident, noting that Lin was a mutant with a powerful weapon form. The MC listened, his face inscrutable. Yan Hao then shifted the conversation back to the upcoming exam, showing the MC the information on her tablet. Suddenly, a figure materialized beside them, a woman with flowing white hair wearing a short uniform who introduced herself as Su Rui. She demanded to know who Tan Hao was. Yan Hao, recognizing the urgency and oddity of the sudden appearance, tried to restrain Su Rui, prompting the MC to ask Yan Hao to call Captain Lu. Su Rui grew distressed, crying out that the MC looked just like her missing brother. The scene shifted quickly to a futuristic medical facility where a blonde, heavily bandaged young man, clearly wounded, was being attended to. The MC and Yan Hao arrived, finding the young man crying and apologizing profusely. The MC recognized him as Su Rui's brother, the young man whose body was modified by the Shadow Alliance. The MC gently assured him it was all right, revealing he knew Su Rui and her brother, as he was their benefactor. The injured brother then showed the MC a crystalline photo embedded in his hand, asking if the MC remembered the girl in the picture. The girl in the image was Lin, the same blonde comrade mentioned earlier. The brother explained that Lin had been attacked on March 11th, but she had fought valiantly and managed to survive, thanks to the MC's earlier intervention which had allowed her to escape with her life, although she was severely wounded. He revealed that the attack was likely orchestrated by the remnants of the Shadow Alliance, suggesting a connection between the attack and their current location. A flashback showed the horrific scene of the attack, a bloody, devastated environment, with Lin's severely injured form lying on the ground. Medical personnel, including the MC, were shown assessing the grim scene. The injured brother explained that Lin, despite having no memory of who she was or what happened, was taken away by the authorities for immediate treatment. They were initially unable to send her to the specialized treatment department due to political complications with the establishment. The MC, his expression grim, listened as the brother explained that they later managed to transfer her, only for an accident to occur during the transfer to Suvin Town. The MC immediately connected the dots, recognizing the location, Suvin Town. Yahello confirmed that Suvin Town was where Lin and the brother had been stationed, which meant the recent incident in that area was linked. The team quickly mobilized, heading towards the rugged, mountainous area outside Suvin Town. Yahello, in a serious tone, expressed her belief that they were heading into extreme danger, suggesting that there was something highly suspicious about this accident. As they arrived, they observed a chaotic scene where numerous soldiers were battling large, monstrous creatures, but the focus was on a mysterious figure, Jin Ying. Jin Ying was desperately defending herself against a unit of black-clad soldiers who claimed they needed to silence her before the truth of their operation was exposed. Jin Ying, realizing the true nature of the confrontation, prepared to use her powers, determined to fight her way out. An imposing figure, a man in dark red and black armor, emerged, declaring that Jin Ying was their guest and that no one would interrupt their procedure. This commander was known for his ruthless tactics, ordering his men to eliminate anyone who interfered. The battle escalated quickly. Jin Ying demonstrated incredible agility and combat skill, weaving through the attackers, utilizing twin swords. As the soldiers pressed her, she unleashed a powerful torrent of electric energy, enveloping herself in crackling purple lightning. The lightning struck several soldiers, temporarily stunning them. Jin Ying acknowledged her own fears and weaknesses, but reaffirmed her resolve to fight to protect herself and possibly Su Rui. Suddenly, a massive, grotesque monster, a terrifying, oversized beast, lunged at her. Jin Ying, using her enhanced speed, dodged the attack, slicing the beast's arm. She watched in horror as the red-armored commander ordered everyone to retreat, realizing he was setting the stage for something catastrophic. He declared that he needed to deal with the threat himself, revealing his own ability, a demonic red-winged transformation. He absorbed the power of the defeated monster, growing larger and more intimidating. Jin Ying stood ready to face the newly enhanced commander, but as he attacked, a sudden, unexpected intervention occurred. A giant, imposing figure, the underground king, appeared, emerging from a dark cave entrance. This massive man, cloaked in dark fur and leather, commanded his subordinates to speak. Jin Ying, bleeding and exhausted, looked up at the terrifying giant who demanded to know who sent her. The ground around them was stained crimson. Jin Ying responded fiercely, her eyes blazing with determination, refusing to back down. The commander in red, now revealed to be a member of the Legion, ordered his men to seize her. A chaotic, electrifying battle ensued as Jin Ying struggled against multiple opponents, her purple lightning clashing with the red energy of her attackers. The Legion commander taunted her, questioning why she struggled so hard to protect the knowledge she held. Jin Ying, realizing the odds were impossible, shouted a desperate prayer for help. In that desperate moment, the MC burst onto the scene, cloaked in his blazing Captain Angle power. He was a figure of pure kinetic energy, shattering the ground beneath him. He declared his arrival, swiftly intercepting an attack aimed at Jin Ying. The Legion commander recognized the MC's power level, confirming the presence of the B-rank hunter. The MC, Tan Hao, swiftly engaged the enemy, demonstrating overwhelming power, effortlessly dismantling the first wave of attackers. The Legion commander, recognizing the gravity of the threat, shouted that the MC was clearly an accomplice. Yahello and Brother Tan also arrived, rushing to Jin Ying's aid. Yahello moved to support Jin Ying, asking if she was hurt. The MC confronted the main Legion commander, exchanging a powerful blow, his eyes blazing with protective fury. The Legion commander was shocked by the MC's sheer physical strength, realizing this was beyond what a typical B-rank hunter should possess. Yahello, enraged, engaged the remaining Legion forces, executing a perfect aerial attack, her weapons glowing. She was fiercely determined, channeling her own strength to take down the enemies. The MC, meanwhile, intensified his assault on the Legion commander, fully unleashing his devastating power. The commander, staggered, realized that the MC was holding back nothing. The MC then pulled his punch slightly, holding his glowing fist close to the commander's face, proclaiming that he only needed a single second to end this confrontation. The commander attempted a desperate counterattack, revealing a hidden metallic claw. The MC merely sneered, dodging the clumsy attack and delivering a brutal kick, sending the commander flying into a nearby rock formation. The MC then turned to Jin Ying and Yan Hao, instructing them to leave the area immediately. They quickly commandeered a damaged vehicle, escaping the volatile scene where the Legion forces were retreating and the monstrous underground king was still lurking. As they sped away, Yan Hao remarked on the damage and the sheer chaos they left behind. Jin Ying, riding with them, confessed that she felt the MC might have saved her life. Yan Hao, recovering her composure, asked Jin Ying why she was running from the Legion. Jin Ying hesitated, glancing at the MC before admitting that she couldn't share the truth yet. Yan Hao pressed her, pointing out that the Legion was secretly plotting to use modified beastman parts in their combat systems, something Jin Ying seemed to know about. Jin Ying, her face pale, revealed that she had defected from the Shadow Alliance and had come to this location specifically to protect Lin, realizing that Lin was being hunted because she was the key to this dark experimentation. She admitted she wasn't actually related to Lin, but rather had come to fulfill a mission. The MC stared at Jin Ying, confirming that she was indeed a defector from the Shadow Alliance. He then pulled out a thin metallic wire, subtly threatening her. Jin Ying, seeing the danger, offered to share what she knew about the Shadow Alliance's operations in exchange for her safety. The MC lowered the wire, a flicker of emotion in his eyes as he looked at her. He asked her about the transfer accident involving Lin, sensing Jin Ying knew more than she was letting on. Jin Ying admitted that the Legion was responsible for the accident, using it as an opportunity to secure Lin for their own experiments. She then looked directly at the MC, her expression softening, confessing that she had seen him fight many times in the past, implying a deeper history. Yan Hao watched this intense exchange with curiosity. Jin Ying, reaching out, gently touched the MC's face, thanking him simply. Yan Hao, seeing the sudden intimacy, grew jealous, stating that Jin Ying should be careful not to reveal too much to the MC. Jin Ying, however, ignored the jealousy, stating she felt safer confessing to the MC, emphasizing that her true mission was to protect the innocent. She then stated that she had a strong feeling that the MC and the events surrounding Lin were deeply connected, perhaps even intertwined. The MC simply responded with a firm, determined gaze toward the horizon, affirming that no matter what the hidden conspiracy was, he would protect his sister, Lin. He stood tall, embodying an unwavering resolve, reiterating his promise to protect his sister.